Welcome to the Influencers Journey Show. As you know, our topic today is Are You Being Your Word? It is a big question. Are
Mhm.
you being your word? And Tria, I know this is something that we've been chewing on. This conversation actually just blossomed in our mastermind, and I just thought it was going to be a fantastic show. So let's get this party started.
All right. So the first thing I think I want to ask you is when we talk about integrity, what is personal integrity? And I have to be honest, Suzanne, I don't think I've ever heard anyone make a distinction before in integrity. So it's either, you operate in integrity or you don't. But in having the conversation in the mastermind, you actually made a distinction and you said that there's personal integrity. So for our viewers out there, can you go ahead and share with us and talk a little bit more about what that is and what it means?
Absolutely. So, when I opened, I talked about I was great with work, I was great with other people. So, if I gave you my word, I was going to honor it. Personal integrity for Suzanne is my integrity with me, my integrity with myself.
Mm,
And what I realized was mine was not good at all when I started this journey. I would commit to things for myself and not follow through. How many
mm,
of you out
mm.
there can make commitments to yourself and put a big yes in the comment section if that is you and you don't honor it? And there's lots of reasons. Yeah, something else came up that was way more important than you. I'm going to use those words, right? Someone asked you to do something that was way more important than what you had to do for yourself. You're tired. Emotions got in the way. You became afraid of something that was requested of you. The challenge was too big. So many reasons. The thing is that you're not honoring your word. That's what integrity is. Do what I say
Mm.
I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Period.
And I was like, when I heard that, I was just like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy because once again, it's the everyday things as
Well,
we
let's
go
let's dive.
through.
Yeah, so let's dive into the everyday thing because how many people listening think that when you say I have integrity or you're out of integrity, those are the words we hear thrown around,
Mhm.
and for a while they were buzzwords. Um, and you think you're either in or you're out. It's like a total thing. I am a person of integrity, or this is not a person of integrity, and it's the overall umbrella statement. Well, the question is that really true? And is that umbrella statement reflective? So, when I started doing my work on this personally, and when I was writing the book Leading with Character, one of the words I pulled apart for myself was integrity. What is it? How do I get it? How do I maintain it? And what I realized, so check this, is when I and you wake up every morning, consider that your integrity is at zero. So, what really made the distinction for me is I don't get to carry my integrity from yesterday into today and pat myself on the back and say, "Whoa, I got
Right.
an integrity buffer," right? Because that's kind of what we do. We think
Mhm.
I'm a person of integrity. In general, I am. What I realized was every morning my integrity starts at zero. And
Mm.
it's every time I honor my commitment to myself or someone else that I recreate integrity. So, how many of you commit to working out in the morning? And then that alarm goes off, your bed is comfy, cozy, you may have went to bed a little too late, and you roll over and you say tomorrow. Well, now you're out of integrity. You're not being your word with yourself. You decided that you had a project that you were going to do, homework for the mastermind, as you were saying,
Right.
and then something came up and you said, "Oh, I'll push that off till tomorrow." You're not in integrity. So for me, when I began to look at it, I said, if I start at zero every morning, when I honor every commitment, I recreate integrity. What it did for me was have me have a higher level of awareness
Wow.
of my word to myself and then my word to other people. What was interesting though was I prioritized my word to other people. I didn't have any priority or even recognize when I wasn't being my word to myself until I call it the integrity game. I started playing the integrity game. And so every morning, 0. And then I'd see how much integrity I ended my day with. In other words, how many times did I honor my word? And the game was to get a high score or a perfect score. And that began to have the awareness. I think where we're challenged is we think integrity is a brushstroke,
Mm-hmm.
generalization of our character in general. And most of us have a higher level of integrity with other people, but we don't consider ourselves
Yeah.
in this equation.
Yeah, and what's really great that we're talking about the day to day or the daily ways that you stay in integrity with yourself. It gives you a different way to focus on intention and being intentional about the things that we say that we're going to do. And so, are we just lightly thinking about it? Or do we really have strong intention? Do we have a strong why? You use the example of saying that you're going to work out in the
Yeah,
morning. So are you just saying that you're going to work out in the morning, or do you have a strong intention to get up, do the things, and put the things in place that would allow you to honor that intention? And it's a different way of
absolutely,
looking at it.
absolutely, absolutely. And it creates a new level of awareness. Because when I started playing the game, uh, man, it was hard. It was hard. I'm going to be totally honest. It was hard to be my word
Mm,
because truly, if I'm not my word, who knows?
right.
For myself, who
Hmm.
knows? Who
Right.
knows that I rolled over and didn't get up this morning to work out?
Yeah.
Who's there to tell, right? So it became a challenge because my aha,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to be honest, my aha was that honoring my word was about looking good and saving face with other people.
Wow.
All right? Let's just be real. I want to look good, save face, appear perfect, get a good score with other people. I
Mm,
pull that for myself. So that was what was hard because other people weren't watching. So in secret,
mm.
who the wishy-washy person I was being for myself.
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
I love that. So, talk a little bit about why integrity with yourself is the first step in creating integrity with others.
So first of all, think about the impact of no one watching. Like
Mm,
really, no one's there when we're doing our stuff, right? No one's around, no one's there, no one knows. So this was a crazy realization for me was that I thought, well, no one knows. So what's the big thing? However, what it got me present to was I knew.
mm,
I knew. And the fact that I knew actually unknowingly, um, what am I going to say? Eroded my confidence in myself.
mm.
It eroded my trust with myself. So, how many of you have had this happen? Someone say, "Hey, Suzanne, how about you do this?" Or, "Hey, Taria, how about you do this?" And you say, "Absolutely." And in the back of your mind goes, "Child, I know why you said yes. You know you're not going to do that." Ever have that?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or you say yes and doubt instantly creeps in. Or you say yes and you go, "Crap, now I have to follow through."
Yep.
Now, what you're getting a glimpse into is how you know yourself to be,
Mm,
right? So, what I began to realize was that I take Suzanne everywhere, and my mind files when I honor my word, and it files when I don't.
mm.
And
I
the
love
more I don't, I have doubt and uncertainty in that area, I lose power. And the more I do, I have certainty and power in that area. So now you want to go, how does that play out with other people? Well, there's two things. Someone asks you to do something, you may say yes, but your mind's saying, you're not going to follow through on that.
Mm.
So your power is off.
Mm.
So I'll tell you, there's a certain person I know, and what he hasn't figured out is I can always tell when he's not being truthful. So he will say something, and I know he's not going to honor his word. One, it's a habit. You hear what I'm saying? One, it's a habit. But two is he loses power. So how he answers is different energetically.
Ah.
Okay. So I want you guys to think about sales, interaction, engagement in your business. And when you have doubt or you know yourself and you're saying something, but you know yourself to be different, energetically, people are experiencing it. Now, they may not know what they're experiencing, but they're experiencing it. So that's the first thing. You just lost power.
Mm.
Because, if anybody's ever done that test where you have someone press on your arm, and when you're truthful, your arm stays up, and when you're not, your arm goes down. Have you ever had that test
Oh,
done?
no, I don't think I've ever had that test.
Have you ever done that?
No.
Right. So it's I can't, the word's escaping me right now, but they say that if you hold your arm out and if someone asks you a question, you tell the truth, or you're certain, your arm will stay firm. But the moment you say an untruth, the person will be able to push your arm down.
Okay.
That's integrity at work.
Okay.
So when you say something and you're not committed, you're not certain, that energy transfers. You lose power and people feel it. They may not know why, but they feel it. So that's the first thing. The other reason integrity with yourself is really important is because integrity, like everything else, is a habit.
I like
So
that.
how many of you, someone has asked you to do something and you just say, yeah, sure, no problem. Or are you going to join us? Oh yeah, I'm going to join you. And the answer came out of your mouth.
Before you thought about it. Oh my God. Oh my
Right?
God. I was just about to say that. It's like a lot of times, not that you're having like a bad intention or a bad thought.
No.
You just like so eager sometimes that you didn't stop to really think about what it takes to fulfill on what it is you just said yes to.
Right. So you reacted, and you reacted favorably to look good, to feel good, to not disappoint, to not have to say no, whatever it is. And then you walk away, and the truth, the reality of what you just committed to sets in.
Mhm.
And for many people, they don't follow through because they didn't think about what they just made the commitment to. That's an integrity conversation happening right now.
Mhm.
Or they said yes, their heart said, crap, I don't want to do this. My heart's not in it. And they go doing it angrily, begrudgingly.
Mhm.
Hmm,
The
that,
angry servant.
and that's an integrity conversation.
Mhm.
Now, this is what's really at play, is you habitually make commitments without thinking it through.
Yeah.
And you habitually make commitments without asking yourself if I'm truly committed to honoring my word. And so when you do it with yourself, you have a lack of awareness. Therefore, you're likely to do it with other people.
Mhm.
And we do it with other people often, not on the big stuff, but on the small stuff. Sure, I'll show up for dinner. Sure, I'll go to the movie with you. Sure, I'll call you later. Those things.
Mhm.
However, what I've learned is what erodes the relationships. It's not the big stuff. It's
Right.
those consistent little times where you said yes and did no, where you committed yes and did no. That's what erodes a relationship, right? Or You commit to doing something at a certain date and time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're consistently not hitting that deadline. Integrity conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are you do the same thing with yourself. That's the
Yeah.
practice, that's the habit. You say you're going to show up on at this time. So all you Black people out there, there's no such thing as Black people time. I'm just going to tell you right now.
What?
Lack of integrity, and it's disrespectful. That is just Suzanne's world right now. So what's happening is habitually you have a
Yeah.
habit of being out of integrity around time,
Yeah.
and you see it as normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is the impact. Our character is formed by what we habitually do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people say, I'm a person of integrity, or that's a person of integrity.
Right.
That's now we're talking character. Our character
Mm-hmm.
is by what we habitually do. So when you're habitually late, when you're habitually missing deadlines, what ends up happening in your world? So this is your integrity with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Habitually late, habitually doesn't mean anything to me. I'm accustomed to doing it. Big project comes along, deadlines are important.
Yeah.
You are talented, skilled, gifted, but your character has just counted you out.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because one of the things that I come to realize, like you said, it's your character and it's how you are training people to see you. So sometimes even before an instance come up, people have already formed in their mind an opinion, of you because you have laid that track record of out of integrity, being late, not showing up for deadlines. And so it's almost they come to expect that type of behavior. So then you're surprised when they react to you or they respond to you, in a certain way. And that's something, like I said, as we started to unpack the conversation, it's just like, whoa, this is so huge. It's not this just, big concept, but it's the things that we do on a daily basis. And really and truly, it's not external. Like we really do want it to be external, where we're saying I'm honoring my word or keeping my word to somebody else, but really and truly is honoring and keeping your word to yourself on a daily basis. And you get into the practice, and I love that you're saying that it's a habit. So
Yes.
get into the practice, like every day, of throughout the day, how am I honoring my word to myself?
Mhm.
What are the things that I'm committed to doing, being intentional about doing, and following through? And it's okay, sometimes to say no. So that's the biggest thing that I'm getting from this as well. In order to stay in integrity, you just have to have to get better at saying no. Can I truly do that? The answer is no.
No. Or am I committed to doing? I can there's things I can do, but I'm not committed to doing.
Mhm.
I'm not
Right,
going to be a happy person doing that.
right.
So integrity with myself says no, I'm not going to do that. This is where it really is interesting. Remember, the world is watching. I want you to think about
Mhm.
that for a minute. The world is watching. So when you don't know that the world is watching, remember the world is watching. So I want to go back to the person who just arrives late. They
Mhm.
arrive late. It's a party, they arrive late. It's a dinner, they arrive late. Um, we're meeting at a coffee shop, they arrive late, 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 late. Okay. Now that's who they are for themselves. That's their integrity with themselves. Because
Mhm.
it's sometimes we're not really committing to anyone. It's just the party's happening. I'm going to come. They arrive late. Dinner's happening. They arrive late. They always have a reason for being late. They're not paying attention, but the world is watching.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And so, what we don't see often is who we are for ourselves. The word we keep with ourselves
Mhm.
is what the world is watching. So, and then it forms our character. So, interestingly, when I go places, people will expect me to get up and work out. Why? Because my word to myself is I work out every morning. When I go to eat, there are places people will never take Suzanne because Suzanne doesn't eat that. Or they're surprised that I will eat something because my word to myself when no one is watching is I eat healthy and clean. What we do, our integrity with ourselves, what we consistently and persistently do, honor our word around those tough things, it creates our character because the world is watching. And then when you show up, people will treat you in accordance to how you treat yourself, who you be with yourself. So oftentimes people are like, I want people to respect me more. I want people to honor this. I want people. The first place it's got to happen is you've got to honor it for yourself. And then the world starts to treat you in alignment with how you treat yourself. Most of us haven't put that together yet. So we're asking people to do something that we're not doing for ourselves. One of the things, remember on the mastermind, the conversation I said is, how many of you want people to treat you better?
Yeah.
How many people want people to be more respectful of you? And I said, so you got to ask your question, am I treating me better?
Yes.
Am I respecting myself? And am I respecting my word? Because you're the model.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so good, and that leads up to the next question, because I heard you say this in the mastermind, just like you said, as entrepreneurs in the business world, how many of us want to have that higher level of clients, or how many of us out there want to even be able to raise our prices in our business. But when we sit and we take a look at, how we're doing things in our business, we expect people to treat us different from how we're treating ourselves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Like, so until, we start to, respect these things and be intentional around these things in our business, and even in our personal lives, people can't see us different because that's what we're training them to see. So I want you to go a little bit deeper into why integrity is the key to building confidence and self-worth.
So I'm going to go back to the conversation I started earlier where I say, I take myself everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so in taking myself everywhere, the reality is whether I like it or not, I know myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us, whether we like it or not, we know ourselves. And it again comes back to what we say we're going to do when no one is watching will determine how confident we say yes, how confidently we commit to things, how confidently we try things. So one of the pieces I was talking about in the mastermind is how many of you make a commitment. And one of the things was make a commitment to your health, but you bail on those commitments. And then what you're looking at is the end result. I made a commitment to lose 40 pounds, whatever is 20 pounds, whatever that is. You're looking at 20 pounds. And I will say to you, you're looking in the wrong place because you have no control really over 20 pounds. Where you should be looking, where I've learned to look, is be my word on those small things I committed to do every day. This is why it's interesting. The more I be my word on those small things, the more confident I become about my ability to do it the next day and the next day, and more confident I become about moving in the right direction to hit my target. The less I do it, the less confident I become because I remember not doing it the day before, and I remember not doing it, and I remember not doing it. That's the memory, and that becomes the conversation. And then I get to the point where I just don't think I can do it because I've not honored my word enough that in my mind I've failed so many times. You haven't really failed. What you have done is not been your word.
Yeah, I
Now,
like that.
isn't that interesting?
It is.
because you haven't failed because you haven't even started.
Yeah.
And so that's where the confidence part comes in, is belief is built. And I say this all the time. Belief is built. Faith is blind. I take a leap of faith. I take a blind leap of faith. But belief is built, and belief is built by every time I honor my word and create a little bit of success. And the
Mm,
success is not the target per se. The success is I can do it. I can do
yeah.
it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it over and over and over again. The more we do it, the more believable this thing becomes to us. Now, this is the interesting thing. Integrity to me is so important in building confidence and building self-worth because it makes things believable. So one of the other things I often talk about is the gap between where I am and where I want to be, the delay,
Yeah.
delayed gratification, the delay. And so in the delay, there's this gap. How we fill the gap, I call it mining the gap. How we fill it is being our word. And every time we do what we say we're going to do, we fill it a little bit.
Hmm.
And when we fail, doing what you said you're going to do is going to allow you to pick something up that gives you new information that allows you to take the next step. Our access is doing what we say. Now, this is where it gets really crazy. I want you to think about any habit you can think of on the planet that's not foundationally based with doing what you say.
Mm. Yeah, I can't think of any.
There's none.
Yeah.
So if there isn't any habit that the foundation isn't integrity, do you see how it erodes your self-esteem and self-worth and confidence?
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I just love the, the way how you just created that awareness, because a lot of times, like you said, that's what we do. We tell ourselves, oh, we're not good at this. We failed at this, or we're failing at it. We'll never get it right. When in actuality, the point is we just never started, because we aren't even honoring our words around the small little things that would allow us to
Yeah.
create success in that area. So that is